Hey guys, this is Jamie, but today's video is actually more oriented, well, at new people who might be checking this, and in general, I want to address not just the fact that detransitioners are getting on my nerves, but I want to just address the fact that older trans guys exist, older trans people exist, and uh, we've been here for a while, and I feel like the whole detransitioner, yes, the detransitioner agenda is getting to us. And I do feel like there's a lot of misconceptions. There's a lot of sort of older trans people don't exist. So, in case you're wondering, I'm 28 and I've known. So, this is a bit of my story so that you don't have to watch every single video put out. And also, it's a sort of it gets better as you age as you transition video. So let's take a trip down memory lane. So when I was a kid, I knew I was a guy, but I still really enjoyed like different feminine things, such as I enjoyed the color pink, and I liked stuffed toys, not dolls. And then when I grew up, I enjoyed Barbies a lot. But that's not the point. The point is when I was already like small, when I was like 2, I was constantly mistaken for a guy, and my mother decided, well, we gotta do something about it, so I got my ears pierced. And that to me is one of the funniest things ever. Now, when I was getting them pierced and it ached like a motherfucker, I wasn't happy. Um, so to travel forwards, in general, I just felt like I wanted to be a guy. I hated my dead name up to the point that I woke up to my mom and I just tell her that I want to change my name. It's stupid. It doesn't fit me. I don't like it. And I had many discussions with her about it. So when I was a kid, I had the usual, why do girls have to do this? Why do boys have to do this? I was general just giving out really masculine energy, and I had a lot of girls hitting on me. Unfortunately, in case you're wondering, I'm gay, so I didn't really appreciate the attention. I just wanted to be friends with people. And this continued into my teenagers and everything, and in general made me a bit confused about my sexuality for a long while. But yeah. So when it comes to my childhood, I guess since there's a lot of emphasis on trans kids, on trans childhoods, I really suffered through puberty a lot. I remember when my chest started growing, and I remember that I was very ashamed of having a period, and I was straight up just not having a good time. Puberty was very, very painful for me, and I remember when I heard that I could have avoided all that pain due to puberty blockers, I just started crying. I just started crying because I understood that I didn't have to go through that pain. Because I wanted no chest. I didn't want a period. I felt uncomfortable that I was one of the first people who got a big chest. I just felt highly uncomfortable with it. And up to the point that I would wear shirts which would compress it. I still have a bad posture because I was always uncomfortable with my chest at the time. And now I'm obviously top surgery, so obviously it's a lot easier, for fuck's sake. But in general, like, sure, you can raise the fact that, oh, puberty, everyone feels uncomfortable. Yeah, but you don't want to, like, literally, if you have, sure, the body goes through a shock, there's different hormones and etc. in play. But one thing is just feeling uncomfortable, and another thing is wishing you were someone else. I really wished I was just a guy. I remember walking, like, I even have memories where I'd go to the men's bathroom and when no one else was there, and I just wanted to be there for some reason. And I used to play male roles in different games. I just didn't identify with girls. I felt very confused by them. I felt very alienated, even though I had some friends, and I still have female friends up to this point, obviously, which have stuck to me throughout all these years. But I just felt something was off. And I feel like the more time passes, and this is something I've spoken about before, the more the dysphoria goes away and the more you settle in your skin, the more it feels like, well, was it really a big deal? But at the same time, it's because we forget the bad things that happen to us. We just overstep them. We can't hold on onto the bad things forever because our memory is just wired that way. So you see all those book angels and whatever relate to their past, and it's literally just because at the end of the day we have to we have to have peace with our past in order for us to move forward, or to forget about it and move forward. So yeah, recently I've been having those like thoughts or whatever where I'm like, okay, like maybe my childhood wasn't so bad, or like I remember certain days which I was happy because I was suicidal from a very young age. I just felt very miserable in my body. I had a miserable existence and everything, and I felt like no one was really understanding. And I also want to say that I was raised in Eastern Europe by Eastern European parents, and I was a very closed up child, and I still am a very closed up person to an extent, or to a very large extent, as people say to me. But it was difficult for me to convey things that I didn't understand, such as my gender or sex, if you must. So it was very difficult. And it took me a while. The first time I came out as a trans guy was to my partner. And this was when I was around 16. No, no, not 16. I was in my late teens, so around 18, 19. And the next day I came back to the closet because I felt that it wasn't right, even though I understood that there was something to it. Um, then I had a very difficult situation in the UK where everything came crashing. I didn't have the support of my family at the time, or rather, a specific member of my family which promised to pay for my tuition. Shout out to shitfaces. And I had to work, and this was also a very big sort of trauma for me because I was expecting the really linear sort of life where I would graduate high school and I would go to university, and that did not happen. So, and this is something that I even get bullied by my family a lot, even though it's very weird to hear that from them because they were the ones who couldn't afford it. So I had to work a lot, and I worked in as a freelancer for a really long while in marketing and social media stuff. And yeah, I worked with it for quite a few years. And then I decided that, okay, I want to try to go to university. And the, the dice roll ended up being Portugal, really, just because me and my partner's apartment got robbed. We got kicked out because the person wanted to rent it to someone else. It's still a very sketchy story, which I don't understand to the extreme extent. And we came to Portugal, and that's when I felt like I couldn't go anymore. I was very suicidal. I hated my body. I was already wearing a binder for a few years, and I was already living as a guy. But I had only come out to my mother and to my mom. It took her many, many years to accept who I was, and we had a very rocky situation where she wasn't willing to accept, and neither was I willing to accept the fact that she wasn't accepting me. So we had very ugly fights. And this is something that I really want to emphasize on, that the people who really care about you will remain caring about you. Obviously, there are people in your life who are absolute just jack shit. Like, I've spoken about abuse on my channel in the past. Um, I'm a victim of abuse from a sibling, and that sibling rejected me once I came out, and I've spoken about it in more depths. And it's very difficult because obviously everyone talks to said sibling. I don't. So, and neither does the sibling wants to talk to me because I'm trans. And this also raises the fact that I cannot talk to my nephews because she thinks that being trans is an abomination and children should not be exposed to it. Which makes absolutely no sense. Because there's not just me, there's a lot of trans people which have unfortunately have to face the fact that the family cut them off. And it's not that it's a one case in a million. I'd say it's very common that trans people, we have to learn to live with the fact that if we want to be ourselves, if we want to survive this life, we have to come out as trans. And then we get cut off by our families, or we have massive fights like I did with my mother. And seeing all these detransition shit which gets fed into everyone's ears these days, it just makes me very angry and it enrages me. If it was one thing if, for instance, if you thought you were binary, then you're non-binary. Then you figured out you were non-binary, or you understood that at certain points in time you identified and then your gender changed. Because back when I was just learning about trans people, there was a very common phrase which that gender is fluid. So I really want to address that if that's the case, for instance, you can understand that maybe hormones are not the right thing for you. Maybe somehow you mistook it. There's also obviously consent forms in the US where you just sign it and you go with it. And I feel like this whole rhetoric that the community is feeding us to be trans is absolutely bullshit. No one fed me anything. I knew that I wanted to be a guy. I just had no idea and no means of doing that. I would just cry myself. I would just cry and just wish that I could do something about it. And that wasn't sadly the case at the time. So then when I moved to Portugal, I understood that I could transition. I spent around 4 months getting diagnosed. I went for very, very extensive mental diagnosing. I was checked by many doctors. I'm still checked by many doctors every 6 months. And T-dosing isn't a certain thing that you just give out and that's it. It has to be very, very, very heavily monitored by your doctor. It's not something you just buy like candy, or they give out like candy. But people don't understand that. And I really want to say that I am, I guess, an older trans person being 28. I have known since I was a kid. I just didn't have the language. I also knew that I was attracted to men from an early age in a different way. My sexuality can be a bit ambiguous at times, but I still identify as gay. Sometimes I identify as queer because I'm attracted to non-binary people as well. But I also wanted to say that, sure, there are certain things about me that I don't know. I don't know where am I exactly between one and pole. I enjoy hooking up. I'm a very introverted person at the same time. I think we need to speak much more openly about our sexuality as well, just like we need to talk about our gender. I'm studying in university, which is something I thought I would never be able to do. I transitioned, which is something I thought I would never be able to do. I'm currently on the waitlist for follow. So I really want to say that things really do get better. It's obviously very, very difficult. But if I could change one thing about our trans community, is the fucking annoying noise that detransitioners do. And I wish I could pretty much hug every trans kid out there and tell them that they're not alone and that they're valid. And just because my experience might not be the same as yours, or yours might not be the same as mine, that doesn't mean you're less valid in any way. And also, makeup, you don't necessarily have to be a trans guy with makeup, or like a femme trans guy. I wear makeup because it was something I was exposed to, and I enjoy as a gay guy. That's it. So yeah, I was also thinking like maybe I shouldn't put makeup on today, but this is who I am. So yeah, and my partner actually remarked that I need to say that the worst thing about C's hair falling out, which did cause me like I thought I'd go bald much later in life, but happened. But if to answer the question, would I not transition? I would probably rather be dead than not transition. I just enjoy being me. I am very grateful for my life. I'm very grateful for the way it's turned. I have a partner. My partner and I have been together for nearly 12 years now. We're in a closed, open relationship, meaning I just hoe around because I'm a hoe, and my partner is okay with that. We have a very open communication about it. We have a dog, a very, very cute dog. You've probably seen my dog in the thumbnails. And yeah, obviously I have my hardships from day to day. Like, I don't know, everything from do I want lasagna or pizza to dinner to, well, I need to get this certain grade to pass. Obviously I have my hardships. Everyone does. So it's not like it gets better and then the credits roll and everything is magnificent. Life is still full of surprises, but when it comes to me and my identity and how I feel happy with my journey, with being a man, with finally being comfortable with my body, Well, I've been comfortable in my body for a while because I'm post-op surgeon and post-total histo, so. But yeah, I want to say that I do not regret transition. And I highly recommend, if you're having any doubts, to talk to a doctor. It's better to talk, to discuss it with a professional, rather than keep it inside you. Also, if you have any doubts, talk to your doctor as well. And I guess just believe in yourself. You know who you are. Yeah. Thank you very much for listening. If you like this video, please go watch some more videos. Come on, give me that watch time. And give a like if you liked it. Spread it around, I guess, because this one is actually one of the few videos which should be spread around. Because I'm tired of detransitioners and people saying that older trans people don't exist, or we don't have a good example of older trans people. So if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Please give a like, drop a comment, watch more videos, enjoy life.